So for those of you who are just joining, a very warm welcome to our offer holder session, specifically for joint honors students. We will have introductions in just a second, but as you can see, there's some people with their cameras on. This is our wonderful panel of students and also two colleagues of mine. We will introduce ourselves. The focus very much of the session will be on getting your questions answered. I'm sure you have lots of burning questions about what it's like to be a student with us. And we're very excited to be meeting you through Zoom and hope to answer all your questions in just a sec. Okay, well, it's 5 minutes past the start time. So in LSE style, lectures always start 5 minutes past. So we're going to kick off right now. It's a pleasure to be here to welcome you to our offer holder session for joint honors students. My name is Dimitra Petropoulou. I'm the Director of Undergraduate Studies in the Department of Economics. And for you to be joining us here today, I expect that you're on a joint program that has an economics component. So it's, I presume at least, half of your degree will be with us. So it's great to be meeting you. I'm going to go around and ask my colleagues and also students to introduce themselves. So for our students, if you could say maybe something about introduce yourself, maybe emphasize what degree you're on and what year, so that our offer holders can know exactly who's covering different degrees. So let's start with maybe Dr. Shapiro, if you could introduce yourself.
Okay, I'm the departmental tutor in economics, and I'm also the designated focal point for people like you who will be on joint degrees, who will want advice on course choice. I cooperate with your departmental tutors to advise you on what they will allow and what we suggest. So I'm always open to discussing your future and your present with you, as well as the other things we'll have on offer for you immediately, like the Economic Society. So that's really enough for now. We'll hear more from our students, I guess. I'm always available, just email. I say too much so almost 24/7, but please try not to expect it at 3 o'clock in the morning, but I am sometimes there.
Let's face it, we're always there. Dr. Olivier, if you could introduce yourself, that would be great.
I am Junius. I'm an undergraduate tutor in the Department of Economics. We also have two other undergraduate tutors. As Dr. Shapiro said, she'll be the dedicated person to look after you, but we're also available if you have any issues that you spot us walking around that you want help with. We're open to that as well to help you out.
Great, thanks a lot. So maybe I'll start with Celine, if you'd like to introduce yourself.
Gladly. So hey guys, my name is Celine. I'm from Canada. I'm in my second year of mathematics and economics. I'm also the outgoing president of the Economic Society.
Perfect. Kingsley?
Hi, I'm Kingsley. I'm from China, and I'm the Year 2 Philosophy and Economics student. So if you guys have any question regarding the course choice or, just the work-life balance, you guys can just ask me.
Perfect. Michelle?
Yeah. Hello, everyone. My name is Michelle, and I'm a second year student on the course Economics and Economic History, and I'm currently based in London. So if you have any questions about the course, feel free to just ask anything later. Thank you.
Perfect. Thanks, Michelle. JJ.
Hi, everybody. My name is JJ, and I study International Social and Public Policy and Economics, or just ISPP and Economics, just a lot simpler. And I'm currently based in rural Eastern Germany for some reason.
Great. Thank you. Thanks, JJ. Ginny.
Hi, I'm Ginny, and I'm in London, and I'm a second year politics and economics student. And again, I'm really happy to answer any questions you guys might have.
Great. Thanks, Ginny. I just want to say that we don't have a PPE student here, but we have Kingsley, who does philosophy and economics, and Ginny, who does politics and economics. And I think in combination, they'll be able to advise PPE students as well. Arian?
Hi, so I'm a first year LSE BSc economics student, and I'm the incoming president of Economic Society, taking over from Celine.
Great. Marie?
Hi everyone, my name is Marie. I'm a first year BSc Economics student. I'm also a student volunteer ambassador as well as a communications ambassador, and I'm also involved in the research division. So if you have any questions regarding those, please feel free to ask away.
Perfect. And last but not least, Sophia.
Hi everyone, I'm Safia and I'm from Malaysia. I'm the incoming head of Zen Club and speaker events for EconSoc, and I'm really excited for you to explore the interdisciplinary link between economics and other courses within EconSoc.
Amazing. Thank you all. Now we'd like to find out who you guys are. So I'm going to launch a poll. If you could tell us which degree program you hold an offer for, then we can have a much better understanding of our audience. And you're all very welcome. In the meantime, let me tell you a little bit about how this session is going to run. We're going to give a very short presentation, just highlighting the economics component of our joint degrees. And then the rest of the time will be really focused on your questions, which you can put in the chat. You'll see there is a chat function at the bottom. And we will be also posting links with useful information, things you could watch, things you could do, places where you can get more information. And of course, we'll be very happy to answer your questions. So at any time, feel free to drop us any questions in the chat. Great. So we have quite a lot of maths and economics students here, Celine. You might have questions on that, but also quite politics, math. Oh, we also have one maths with economics student, PPE, philosophy, and also economic history. So everyone is represented except geography with economics, although not many students do that. So in a way, I'm not surprised. Okay, sorry, I didn't share that with you. So you can all see that too. Sorry, I thought I'd shared. So this is who we all are. Okay, let's get going. So we have a short presentation, which I will kick off for you guys. As I said, our plan is to be fairly quick on this and give you our highlights and then get your questions. So I guess the thing I'd like to emphasize that hopefully you guys are aware of is that we're launching a new undergraduate curriculum starting in this coming academic year. And this is really the biggest innovation in the economics department for maybe 40 years. So this is a big redesign of our undergraduate core curriculum that is coming in. And it's off the back of a very large investment in our undergraduate teaching and in our community to try and forge stronger links between amongst our students and between us and students. And I think it's worked really well. So this is the culmination of, I think, a sort of 3 to 5 year plan that has led to this point. So what does it mean for you guys coming into the new curriculum? It does mean that as joint honors students, you will have tailored courses specifically for you guys. So your microeconomics, your macroeconomics will be designed for joint honors students. It also means that whereas at the moment, joint honors students choose in their second year 2 of the 3 there's microeconomics, macroeconomics, and econometrics. And at present, students choose 2 of the 3. And that means that they have 1 of the 3 areas that they haven't really covered unless they cover it as an option in their third year. In the new curriculum, all 3 are going to be covered in the second year. So all students will get 2 terms, like 1 year of micro, 1 year of micro, and 1 year of metrics. So in this sense, we ensure that everything is covered. So it's going to be far broader. And what it does is it gives you a lot more third year options when you get to third year. Whereas at the moment, what you can do in third year is a little bit dependent on what you chose in second year. It's going to still be mathematically rigorous, but because it will also involve fewer students. So, rather than having everyone together in one big micro course, we're going to split it out. It means we can also be more creative in the forms of assessment and the things we do. So I'm hoping you're as excited as I am with that development. And this is just some examples of the people you might be taught by. That's me in the middle. I teach second year micro, and I will continue to teach second year micro, both for the single honors and actually also for the joint honors students. So I'll be teaching everybody micro, irrespectively, in separate courses. And here on the left is Ronnie Razin. He's the first lecturer that you'll get when you arrive at LSC. And he's also created a welcome video for you guys on our dedicated offer holder page if you'd like to sort of hear him speak and meet him in person. And to just move on quickly to a little bit about our teaching and learning, especially in light of the pandemic. I'm sure you have lots of questions of how that might be, and feel free to put in your questions in the chat. Our students will also share their experiences of how that's gone for them. In fact, a lot of people here are in Zoom classes with me. That's how I know them. So, you know, they're well placed to talk about what it's been like, the online component. So in the next academic year, we expect classes to be delivered in person for anyone who can be in London. And we invite everyone to come to London to experience these in-person classes. Of course, the LSE recognizes that some students might still face travel restrictions or other issues and not be able to join us in London. So there is an expectation that some classes might still take place through Zoom. But the overwhelming majority of classes will be face-to-face in our COVID secure campus with presumably socially distancing and everything we've put in place for the safety of staff and students. Lectures will be online and they will take place either synchronously through Zoom, kind of like we are now, or asynchronously through pre-recorded videos that students see a little bit of a video to get a feel for the subject, and then they come to the lecture to discuss it in more detail. So that's another possible configuration. So a mix of videos and Zoom for the lectures, but then face-to-face for the classes. At the same time, we have our office hours and support labs. Students will also be put into study groups, and you know, I think that some students have really taken to that and are working well with each other. And our students will tell you a lot more about the community engagement that's on offer as well. And as I've said, the LSE has put in place a large investment to ensure that the campus is as secure as possible. And at the moment, you know, we have testing sites on campus and so on and so forth. Dr. Olivia, would you like to outline the student support available?
Right. Again, thank you all for being here. So I'm just going to talk a bit about the support that we have available to you. We have both academic and non-academic support. And at the end, I'll also tell you how you can get involved in contributing to the community around you at the LSE. So first up, as soon as you join, you'll be assigned an academic mentor. Each student has a dedicated academic mentor, and academic mentors are tasked with looking after your progress during a degree program. So they will discuss course selection with you, at times your performance, your professional aspirations, and any personal issues that you're facing at the LSE. They are willing and able to help you with that and also point you in the right direction. So your academic mentor will be a crucial person in your life at the LSE. So I suggest you get to know them very well, engage with them. In fact, students who are most engaged with the academic mentors tend to do better. So it's essential for you to engage with them. We also have economic support labs for our students, and these offer help with specific courses. And you can see to the right, there's a picture of one of our loved lecturers, Antonio, engaged in an econ support lab session with one of our students. You can see the one-to-one communication there between him and the other student. Tells you that you will get dedicated help and you can come with any question you want without fear of being in front of a large classroom. So that really offers you the chance to ask all the questions that you want. Economic support labs are also taught by class teachers who teach the relevant courses. So maybe your teacher will be available as well if you wish to speak to them directly at the econ support lab. We also have student academic mentors, and student academic mentors, they provide a source of mentoring on a peer level. The student academic mentor program matches second and third year student mentors with undergraduate students in the first year from the same department. So this is something that you can find useful for yourself. It allows you to engage with other students who are more senior to you, who have had some experience in the program, and allow you to learn from their own experiences. So that's a very, very useful way to get up to speed with life at the LSE very, very quickly, and especially life in the economics department, as your student academic mentor will be from the same department. We also have peer supporters available for you. This is for non-academic peer support. They're trained student volunteers, so they're very well equipped to offer you support give you a fresh perspective, and give you advice on issues, whether also academic actually, but also on personal matters. LSE Life is for study skill support. The LSE Life is very well liked by our students, and a lot of them use it. It can offer you exam support, whether it be how to prepare for an exam, how to get your readings done. They also do skills workshop. They train you in skills that you can use inside and outside of the classroom. And they also offer one-to-one sessions that you can take part in to develop some fundamental skills to help improve your academic life at the LSE. So in these pictures, you can see some of the support we offer, what you can expect it to look like, both if we're virtual as well as in person. To the far right, that's Katarzyna Kaniewska, or Kasia. She's helping some of our students in with AC 202, I believe. And to the left, or in the middle, is Antonio helping some of our students virtually. And to the far left, that's me up top, and some of our students engaging with some of the class teachers in the other photos. So you can expect us to, as long as COVID permits, be readily available to assist you in person, or if not, we also have a virtual option for you.
Great.
This is
yeah, go ahead.
How they can get involved. Was that Judith's part?
No, it's yours. Sorry, I jumped ahead.
Okay. Yeah, so just a few examples of how you can get involved. You can get involved with the LSESU Economic Society, and they also host Zen Club. We have some of our students here from the LSESU Econ Society, so I'll leave it to them to talk a bit about that or answer your questions about that. There's also the LSESU Central Banking Society and New Society, and they're very much got off to an excellent start with their speaker series. You can also become a student representative or peer supporter, which I pointed out earlier. You can being a student rep is a great way to get your voices, your voice and the voice of your fellow students heard by the department. You can have an impact through change makers. This is where you collaborate with a few of the students and work on a project that will help to contribute to bettering student life at the LSE. So feel free to take part in that, and the more you engage, the more you will get out of your program.
Okay. Now it is my turn, right? And we always get this question from offer holders who want to work very hard at the start of the summer. We want you to come excited and refreshed. And there's a certain conflict in that. So we give you suggestions on what you can read and do that will get you excited, valuable. I will say that this year we do recognize that you haven't had final exams and the same revision pressure. So we've made this a little more serious. We have links for you, but most of them are for stimulating and exciting blogs and controversies. And the very first one that is like that is actually an invitation to join our essay competition, which Marie is heading up. And after her wisdom teeth are extracted, you'll hear more from her. She promises a final list by the 30th of April. We'll have it posted of questions. Every year the questions are different. There'll be an offer of some general advice on how to write an essay. There is a prize just for offer holders, but people from all over the world do compete in this. It's a wonderful competition. To give you an example of the questions that are being honed and prepared for you this year, our Center for Economic Performance, our wonderful research center, always offers one, often on happiness, but this year it's on what do you think will be the effect of the pandemic on young people's futures, especially with regard to social mobility? So that's the very first one. Another one which all of you are interested in, of course, is the environment and climate change. So what kind of economic incentives can be offered? We've looked in the past at things like charging for plastic bags, but what can we do about the coral reef or anything else like that? You will find some exciting ideas and innovations. We also, of course, are looking at inequalities, and COVID-19 has been both the cause and consequence of much inequality. So there will be a question on that. And finally, we're borrowing one from the University of Chicago's Becker Friedman Institute, with whom we've had some close contact. We're terribly aware that economics is not a diverse profession yet. It tends to be white, male, and older. We've had some wonderful people, but nonetheless, we think we need more diversity. Why don't we have it? And your question, what would diversity contribute to making economics a better subject and profession? Those are the sorts of questions. Go and run with them and enjoy it at the same time that you can listen to the beverage report and imagine yourself contributing to it. Well, there are blogs online. Marginal Revolution is slightly to the right of center. The next one, the more serious reading, the Vox EU, is slightly to the left. Economics is like that. I'm always aware of what I'm reading, but I want to read everything, and you will find it there. We also recommend strongly, and joint degree students will love this, that you look at things like The Economist and the Financial Times. As soon as you are registered, you're going to have free subscriptions online via our library. Right now, you can get partial ones. So do some revision, but get yourself interested and excited. Remember to relax and unwind. We want you to come bounding in here, where we will have orientation sessions for you. We want you to feel welcome also in the economics department, though it isn't your home department. So welcome.
Thank you very much for that, everybody. We are now ready to move on. Thank you for your talk. Some questions have started to flow in. I think it would be useful to get a better understanding of what you'd like to find out more about. So if you could complete this poll and identify the 3 things you care most about, we can, we'll be very happy to answer questions and get students' views on these particular things you might care about. While you're doing that, maybe to answer Abdul's question, which was since the vaccination drive is so successful in the UK at the moment, will there be safety precautions in place on campus next academic year? I mean, we haven't received the government guidelines yet. We always follow those, so we'll have to wait and see what the government guidelines are. But my expectation is that a lot of the things in place will continue. So for example, we have markings on the floor with one-way systems, so that instead of people crushing each other going in and out at the same time, there's a different entry point and a different exit point to the building. These things I bet will continue. And things like, they've improved ventilation in the buildings. Those things I'm pretty sure will continue. Whether the desks will have to be 2 meters apart or not, or precisely when and how you have to wear masks, I think we'll have to just wait and see. I suspect these things will be in place still, but like you, I wait for the guidance. I can't know, but I'm encouraged by the vaccination drive as well. So let's see what you thought. So most of you care a lot about the workload in a typical week, so I think we will kick off with that. Runners up are the new curriculum. Yeah, we're happy to answer any questions on that. And of course, how to prepare and course choice, I think, is a hot topic as well. So let's begin with that. So maybe I could turn to our students and I will pose the questions to you guys and you tell us what you think. So maybe I could I'll start with Ginny. Ginny, if you could tell us a little bit about what your typical week is like, how do you manage the workload? And maybe also what course choice, if you had course choice on your degree, what you chose and how that went about for you.
So I really enjoyed the variety in this course. So I do, and it was first year as well, I do 2 courses for economics and 2 for politics. And the workload is quite intense, but I think as long as you're organized and you have a good plan, and yeah, you have a good routine, then it does get more manageable. I really like the teaching style, how it differs between the subjects as well. So for politics, I get less hours of lectures, but more time to do like the readings and essays. So I think it's a really good variety, and like it helps you structure your week. And so in terms of course choice, you get to choose in second year. So I'm doing micro and macro in terms of economics. And then in politics, there's a really good choice. I think there's around probably 8 to 9 courses. And I'm doing one on European politics and one on democratization. But yeah, there's so many to choose from. And yeah, I just recommend doing one that you really enjoy to make the workload more manageable.
I'm muted. Thanks a lot, Ginny. JJ, you're also in a subject that's sort of combining essay-based with economics. How do you find that contrast and how do you manage it?
So first of all, let me talk about the workload a little bit, because I had some personal issues at the end of last year, and I actually found it possible to kind of reduce the time working on econ and social policy stuff a little bit and then start back up again. So it is quite sequential what we're doing. So you should know what we did in week 8 to progress in week 9. But if you don't feel, you don't always have to give 110%. It's fine if you like have 1 week where it's just not, it's not your week. And we also have reading week from now on, where we don't have economics courses, if I'm right. But regarding the mixture of essay-based and economics courses, I think it's very refreshing. It is challenging in a sense because sometimes we do contradictory stuff. So for instance, we're learning regressions in social policy, and then we learn regressions differently in econometrics, which is kind of hard to grapple with. But you do get more perspectives on the issues that we're talking about, because we do talk about a lot of the same issues, just from completely different angles. And one big disclaimer for all of those doing social policy, be aware that you don't have that much choices. So you don't have any choices in first year. You can choose between, you have to take 2 out of 3 courses in second year on the economic side, so micro, macro, and econometrics. And in third year, you only have 1 free choice, which can be quite constraining. And I, to be honest, didn't notice that until way into my first year.
Yeah, I should say that by the very nature of a joint degree, you're kind of crowding out options by having chosen 2 subjects. So there's sort of limited space on your timetable, right? So you have to squeeze in both your economics and your whatever other thing you're studying. So there is less optionality, and I think that's part of the structure. But then when you get to third year, for example, you would have the new curriculum takes away choice in second year because everyone does the same stuff, but it opens a wide range of options in third year, which now will be available. So in a way, it's a trade-off. And I think we've balanced it right, because then anyone graduating from a joint degree in economics at LSE will know all 3 areas of micro, macro, and econometrics, which is important, but have a lot of choice. There's a question about maths in the chat. I'm going to turn to Celine in a minute and get her take on what it's like doing 2 technical subjects in combination. And, you know, she still has a smile on her face. That's good. But if I turn to the chat, there was a question from Joseph about, as a maths and economics student, I would like to know if the economics models we take are at least as mathematically rigorous as the regular. And do we still use Snyder-Williamson for microtheory instead of Perloff? So let me tell you right off the bat that LSE does not really use textbooks. So that's what makes us special. So I know most universities choose a textbook, and yes, Snyder and Perloff are there on the list, but we don't use them, do we? I mean, I guess my students say here, we don't really use them. So what LSC offers is a unique, distinct take on these subjects by leading experts in each field, which you won't get anywhere else. And you can use textbooks to help build your knowledge, but it's not really a textbook-based type of learning. So this idea that we follow a textbook and do the exercises at the end of each chapter, that's just really not what it's like at all. Maybe someone here can tell us what it's like. Maybe first of all, if you could, as a math and econ student, Celine, say a bit about the math side and how you found staying without a textbook.
Gladly. So I do maths and economics, which is roughly 50-50 split across maths and econ. It is very quantitative. So economics, particularly in the later years, becomes very, very mathematical. And it is interesting to manage because in high school, I myself personally took a lot of literature courses, I took a lot of history. So jumping into full quant was interesting. But I do think, even though it is quite intense, I found it tremendously rewarding. So in terms of workload, you're spending probably 3 to 4 hours a week per course in terms of course materials, and then more time preparing. You're working on problem sets each week. And I find it's quite nice to be able to say, right, this stays for this problem set and this stays for another problem set. And even though it is quite quantitative, I find that there's a lot of applications, particularly in the math courses, you apply it a lot to various areas of finance and economics, which makes it more engaging. You're also able to take more mathematical options in the econ courses. So you can take a more mathematical version of micro, which is EC202, or a more mathematical, well, you have to take a more mathematical version of metrics, which is econometrics. So that's been my assessment. Was there anything else you wanted me to cover, Dimitra?
I think you did talk about workload. Do you find that there's sort of complementarity? Do you use the maths and the econ, or you think it's not so much?
Absolutely, absolutely. I think that's one of the beauties of this program, which is why I was attracted to it. You definitely use parts of the other, like parts of your math course in your econ courses, and parts of your econ courses just help with the maths. So for instance, right now I study advanced linear algebra, which is a lot of matrices. And in metrics, believe it or not, it's matrices all over again. And in some of my other math courses, such as differential equations, it's just more matrices. And I spend most of my days doing matrices, but it's so cool to see it across so many different applications. So I find that my math studies really complement my econ studies. And I personally think it makes me a better economist.
Thanks, Celine. Michelle, you're studying economic history, so you're sort of seeing economics also from the theory side and from the historical perspective. How are you finding that?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's a very interesting kind of base. So I've got the problem sets, as Celine kind of mentioned, from like the economic courses that I do. But on the other half, it's kind of just like readings in terms of the economic theories that we learn. And I think it's really when you go into like second year that you realize that the economic theories that you learn from the economic history side that I do, they kind of overlap to the methodology, like the quantitative stuff that we get in the economics. So it's kind of being able to see how like economic theory plays into life or like past history events and how they've kind of changed. So it's just a bit of essay writing as well as the problem sets. And I personally quite like that base because you kind of get to do some essays as coursework throughout the year. So it's not really like a pure economic course where you have all the exams towards the end of the year. So it's a bit of both. And I guess that balance is quite nice. Sorry, I think you're on mute.
I was just thanking you for your answer to that. There's a question by Shoria. As joint degree students in subjects with more qualitative combinations like political science or philosophy, will our assessments be the same as BSc economics students, very problem focused, or more likely we'll get essay-based writing focused assessments? So at the moment, everyone is together and getting exactly the same exams. But just because we're splitting people off into joint honors courses and single honors courses doesn't mean the assessment is going to change. It's definitely going to be problem sets, guys, because the technical side of analyzing the models, but then also critically discussing them is really the skill set you need to get to be able to do well in third year econ courses. So you have to do that. If you're on a joint degree, I think your essay writing skills are being developed by the other half of your degree. Not to say there's no, I mean, it's not like we have long pieces of writing. There's always some writing in the sense that you have to it's not enough to just solve the maths, you then have to understand what it's telling you from an economics perspective, right? So there is reasoning, but it's not really so much essay based at all. Though I think that now that our courses will be a little bit smaller, we might have more, I wouldn't call it an essay, maybe something like writing a policy report could be an interesting task. So the way you might write a report to analyze a policy if you worked in the government economic service, that kind of writing, sort of semi-academic writing, could be a useful skill. So we're thinking of ways of building that into the joint curriculum as well. Are there any more questions? I'm sure there are more. Maybe while people are thinking up their questions, we can ask those who are here from the Economic Society to say a few words about the society and about SENCLUB. How about that? Who wants to take that? Will it be Celine or Arian?
I'm happy to give a quick intro and then pass it on to our incoming team.
Great.
All right, so right now, hey guys, I'm the outgoing president of the Economic Society. What is EconSoc? We've talked a lot about it. It is the largest academic SOC here at the school. It is a hub for all students interested in economics. So we offer a ton of events and programs and activities. Some of them include a research program, which Marie will be heading next year. We offer a weekly speaker series, which is SENCLUB, which Saf can talk more about. We offer several socials, policy competitions, symposium, career events, just a lot of ways for everyone to engage with economics. So maybe Arian or Saf, you want to take on and talk more about what we do?
I can't really think of much more to add, so I'll pass on to Saf to talk about SENCLUB.
Thank you. So as Celine mentioned, we have SENCLUB, which is a weekly talk featuring prominent academics and economists. So it's sort of like EconSoc's flagship event where you get to socialize with everyone and meet everybody who's in the society. So I think the interesting thing about SENCLUB is that it, as I mentioned before, it explores all the different links with economics and, for example, politics. So one of the talks that we had was Aaron Maskin, who is a Nobel Prize winner, and he talked about how members of parliament should be elected. And even though this year it was online, we had a lot more opportunity for international speakers, and we had a really, really great lineup. And hopefully next year we'll be able to, regain it and start it in person. But even if it's not, we will still be able to host amazing speakers from all around the world internationally. But I think SENCLUB is such a great thing to get involved in, and it's one of the many amazing things that EconSoc has to offer.
Thanks, guys. Maybe we can turn to our students again and find out, what you're doing from an extracurricular point of view. See what you're doing on the side. Would be really great. So maybe I can start with Kingsley. Kingsley, what are you up to outside of your studies?
I think school offer you a lot of platform to engage with others as well. So there are also regional society where you can, just communicate or, just to talk to your same regional people. There's Chinese society or other regional society where you can engage in some local events there. So especially now in the lockdown state, but now here in China, it's quite open. So we often hold lots of activities across different cities so people can meet each other. So I think you've got lots of opportunities to, to meet lots of new people, and school really offer you the platform, but you need to join them, you need to participate in it. And that's what I think.
Thanks a lot, Kingsley. How about you, Ginny? What are you up to on the side?
Yeah, I'd highly recommend joining societies. They're so good, meeting loads of people. I did Economic Society last year, and yeah, the speakers are so interesting. So I do netball as well. So I really recommend a sports society. They do so many matches and socials, and it's really good to meet people, but also people in different years doing different courses. And yeah, whether it's academic or sports, they still do so many other societies, anyone you can think of. So I did Italian society and cocktail society. So there's literally something for everyone. And yeah, it's just really good to meet different people and from different year groups as well.
great. How about you, JJ?
So of course, this year, this academic year is a little special. So at the beginning of this academic year, I started working in my old school in my hometown as a substitute teacher, just because a lot of teachers couldn't come to school because of, well, age and risk and coronavirus and whatever. So it was quite fun teaching in the old classroom that I was taught in. Right now, I was a member of the Microfinance Society, which I was really interested in, or still am really interested in. And right now, I'm just kind of preparing for the exams and doing a lot of sports and cycling, canoeing, and all of that stuff. And I'm also a member of a political party here in my home, and I love campaigning and just trying to advocate and win votes in the door-to-door campaign.
That sounds great, actually. That's really interesting. Thanks, JJ. Michelle, how about you?
Yeah, so we've had quite a lot of the academic society. So I myself am actually involved in the tea society. So it's kind of a more social society. So we have like tea drinking sessions throughout the year. And because of the situation this year, we actually had a few free tea leave giveaways that were just hosted on Instagram. And we had some online sessions through Zoom where we had like people come in from the members. And we just kind of had some Among Us sessions, some sessions for members to be able to just enjoy a cup of tea together. And I think it's quite nice to have the balance between your academic studies as well as these social societies that the school provides. And I think there's quite a lot of them there as well. So make sure you get some fun as well from university.
Thanks, Michelle. Thanks, guys. There's a question about to what extent did you manage to speak with current students before you arrived? Now, I can't say I know what other departments are doing. I don't know if Dr. Shapiro knows the details. In economics, for the BS Economics, we have a Facebook page that students join and can interact with other offer holders. And then through society enrollment, you meet new students and so on. So I'm not sure what each department has in place. But there are certainly econ events that you can participate in. So many of the public lectures and talks at LSE are open, and you're very welcome to join. We can put some links of things you can just participate in, like public talks and stuff you can be part of. That's definitely something we can do. But how about the rest of you? Were you in touch with other students on arrival or just before arrival over the summer?
I can jump in quickly on this. So what you should see around this time are different group chats or WhatsApp links popping up on Facebook groups. Like there should be a Facebook offer holder group. And students tend to make small group chats for international students, students from same degree programs, students coming in from the same country. So I joined a few of them. It was a lovely way to meet different people and to see what the different people were interested in. That being said, you do meet the brunt of people in like your first few weeks here. But definitely check out and see if there's any chats like that.
How about halls of residence? Maybe asking more people in their second year, because I know year one was a little strange. So I don't know if those of you here in first year were actually in London or not in halls, but what about those of you in second year? Were you in halls? Did you not live in halls? How did you find it? Who wants to pipe up? I don't know who's been in halls and who wasn't. I'm afraid.
So maybe I'll jump in again. I'm a very big fan of halls. I've been in halls my first 2 years and I'll be going back next year. So I think I'm also very involved with helping organize residence events. Residence is a wonderful way to meet people, and often LSE as well as students put together small events during Welcome Week so students can meet each other. Even with COVID, we work very hard to try and create a very sociable environment. So if you choose to come to halls during COVID, rest assured that you'll get to know everyone on your floor and you'll be able to make lots of friends. There's also in-residence support for students, such as peer support, which has been a great resource. So residence is definitely a wonderful way to meet people from outside your course. You learn to make friends from all around the world, speaking all sorts of languages, studying all sorts of things. And it's just been, in my opinion, one of the most special parts of my experience here at LSE. And you usually get food out of it, which is quite nice.
It's true. Big food budget always is. In the econ department as well. Yeah, JJ, you wanted to say?
Yeah, I just wanted to agree completely with Celine. It's just such a great way to meet people from different cultures, from different countries. I think I've met like several people from, or the first time I've met people from different countries or some countries was in my halls of residence, and we had so great discussions. So my evening dinner table was mostly composed of myself, a friend from the US, from Indonesia, and from Estonia. So we've got like kind of a tight-knit group, and we're still in contact from the beginning of first year. And it was just so special to see just everything was different from where we came from. And yet we had like the same humor in some cases. We could laugh about a lot of the same things. And we all looked forward to getting the tater tots on Saturday morning at Rosebery Hall.
Thank you. Any other experiences on halls? Dr. Shapiro, you wanted to say something?
Yes, I mentioned on the chat, and I have a link. There is a general LSE offer holders page. It doesn't have much except announcements on it, but people are asking at the moment, anybody else in my hall or anybody else in my degree, and forming WhatsApp groups, which I think is a great idea. Other departments like us, until we have offer holders, we're limited in what we're able to do just by UCAS regulations in terms of communicating. But look at these Facebook pages. There's always a very active Economic Society Facebook page. At the moment, organizing a social event is not easy to forecast, but if you follow these pages, you'll see what's available and can join it. In addition, LSE is going to have all sorts of public events online, and I would recommend that you, quote, go together to one of them in your WhatsApp group so you can discuss afterwards what you thought, since not everybody has the courage to speak out in a forum, even when it's not virtual, but you can really enjoy going to things with people. And so I hope that we'll be able to have that this summer also.
Great, great, thank you. Looking back on the poll where you guys listed the things you were interested in, I see one of the things that came up was how to prepare for the economics side of the degree. And I know Dr. Shapiro talked quite a bit about that, but maybe this year is a bit special because, again, due to COVID, you've got less exam experience. So maybe for this year, especially, it might be a good idea as September approaches to review your mathematics and if you've done economics, review your economics and review your mathematics a little bit. I understand there won't be A-level exams. So, it's the very nature of exams. We revise for them, right? So if there aren't any, there'll be less of that intense revision. So you might need to review that before arriving. And if I had to choose one thing to revise, it would be differentiation. What do you think, guys? Differentiation, the one skill we use. Oh, you're laughing. I mean, I don't know. Isn't it the one thing you do in every econ course? Rearranging equations, substituting one thing into another, and differentiating. I think that brushing up, making sure you can differentiate, in your head, closing your eyes and being able to differentiate would just make everything so much more, life much easier for you, I think. Anything else that you think you think, God, I wish I'd revised that before coming to university?
Maybe just one small thing. It's kind of funny. I ended up in the economics course by accident. I actually did not apply for social policy and economics, but they just accepted me for social policy and economics and for no other course, which, yeah, is kind of weird. So I didn't take maths for in my final 2 years of high school. And I was like, oof, when I first came to LSE. And I don't say that I'm great at economics now, but I'm doing fine. So even if you don't feel that you're perfect at maths, you're going to do fine. Just like as a quick disclaimer. Oh yeah, and definitely differentiation. Definitely.
There's a question about switching between degree courses. Also, I received a private message also saying the same thing. Is it possible to switch from a joint degree course to another without specifying? So, and also, Sarah, you're asking between joint degree courses rather than So if I've understood the question correctly, it's going from politics, economics to philosophy of economics, something like that. Dr. Shapiro, do you want to take the course switching question?
And well, this is tricky. First of all, for you need to ask the department which would take you in. And we would be for economics ones, but for politics to philosophy, it can be very difficult unless you start again, because you won't have taken philosophy. It is going to not basically be possible to transfer to economics in future. What we are trying to build in instead is a good substitute if you wish to continue in economics afterwards. You will be able to have a better third-year experience. We have already sat down with our very demanding MSc in economics to be sure that students on the joint degree will be eligible for it if you choose the right courses and you do well. And for many of the other outstanding economics degrees. So it's not going to be necessary, but it is going to be, and it's going to be less necessary, but more difficult. Do not come here hoping to transfer. That would be my advice. Basically, if you really want to start, you apply where you want to start. The only exception for that is our very, very small and elite econometrics and mathematical economics degree, where we do get transfers from other subjects, but that's unusual, and it focuses on people who want to go on to do research and graduate study in economics. So it's going to be tricky. Do not count on it. Instead, we will try to make your degree as suitable as possible to do anything you want. We have students even from international IPPPPP, I can never say it all, and economics. We have somebody this year who's been admitted everywhere, LSE, the very coveted Oxford MPhil, and she's now shortlisted for an outstanding position with us as a research assistant, pre-doctoral. It is possible for anybody to do that within their own degree. I want to stress that. So that's what I would think of this as, your degree that you are going to stay on, basically. If you're not certain about that, now is the time to think about it, not when you arrive.
There's a question about the MSc in econometrics and mathematical economics, which is obviously a very mathematically rigorous degree. It would
be the MSc is for it's a separate question. Please write to me about it, since it's not of interest to most of the students here. However, it's a very specialist degree, which most of our students do not choose either. But certainly you can prepare for it with the right choice of courses. I do not imagine anybody going for the MSc ME who's not in mathematics and economics or in our own EME, basically. But please write with any of these questions, because everything is individual. What did you take? What do you want to do? And we're here to help you with that.
Yeah, so there will be quite a lot of guidance along the way on what courses to take if you want to follow a particular avenue. So Bruno is asking about MSc degrees being open. Joint honors students so a lot of joint honors students who have an and economics component want to find out if they can do a master's in economics.
The basic requirements for that have been for many, many years very simple. That is, you need all our quote core courses: microeconomics, macroeconomics, econometrics, our 3 M's. That's all you need. So you have to be careful to choose them instead of a more advanced macro or micro course, for example. There isn't an MSc Pro in economics. If you want it for something like politics, we have just seen people admitted from our BSc economics into Cambridge political science, for example. It depends on what you take, both as your options and your target. By and large, an economics degree trumps others and allows you to be admitted to political science courses, I have noticed. But many students go to a variety of subjects. We can post a list for you of the ones that they are admitted. And you will have a better spread of those courses with the new curriculum.
Yeah,
Everybody will have micro, macro, and econometrics of the joint degrees, right? No?
absolutely. So in that sense, you have the foundations. I think what matters is getting a very good grade in your mathematics and statistics in year one. So
yes, do not neglect year one. Every year I have tears about that because people very well, but they neglect year one. They are either unhappy or so happy that they're doing everything but studying, and they think it's going to be okay because they'll still get their first class. You need the foundations. It's pretty easy if you just work at it. Most of the students who do badly were thrown by just not working. They knew how to differentiate and they thought it was enough, basically. But so that's but you have a really wide variety. Just do well enough and choose wisely. Every year you should get advice both from other students and from us and your own advisors on this. If you have to make choices, sometimes you can self-study also, or you can study in the summertime, and there are online courses.
Yeah.
So
so there is advice along the way, and every year the MSc Economics admissions team gives a talk in the very beginning in Welcome Week on what courses to take if that's the direction you want to follow. So the answer is yes, that the options are open to you, but these are very competitive programs. You have to have very good grades. That's right. Yeah. Great.
Now, there is a question, I guess we should answer it separately, about there isn't really much room to take philosophy within mathematics and economics. Dimitra has already addressed that one. The joint degrees have more variety than economics, but less choice as a result. It's pre-established choice. You don't get the extra side dishes, unfortunately. I would encourage you that you can still enjoy going to lectures and participating even in the philosophy department's seminars. You do not have to take a course. Economics-oriented philosophy department, they have wonderful courses, and you do not have to take them to benefit from it. But if you want, you have to accept that you're not going to get the same variety.
Great.
In fact, British degrees, for those of you who are choosing, they don't have a lot of variety. They are pre-prescribed.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Shapiro. It's now just past 12:30. We're going to have to draw our session to a close. Feel free to reach out. I've put my email address in the chat. I'm sure we're all happy to hear from you. From fellow students, from the students, if you're happy to be contacted on Facebook or some other way, just let us know. Do let the participants know. And, I'm sure you'll have questions down the line. Feel free to get in touch with us and we'll answer all your questions. And there was a question about whether this will be recorded. It is being recorded and will be shared very, very shortly with everyone. Yeah. We hope it's been informative to you all, and we've answered your questions. And I'd like to thank our students, especially who've joined us. So well done to our students who came along and answered your questions. Thank you all, and I look forward to seeing you all at LSE as soon as we're back. Thank you. Bye-bye, everyone.